In 1990, two men dressed as police officers walked into a Boston museum and walked out with $500 million worth of art. It took them only 81 minutes to commit the greatest heist in human history. No shots were fired, no high-tech alarms went off, and 36 years later, not a single piece of the stolen art has been recovered. This is a forensic mystery that has baffled the FBI for decades. Today, we analyze the crime scene, the suspects, and the empty frames that still haunt the walls of the Gardner Museum. It was 1:24 a.m., St. Patrick's Day. Most of Boston was celebrating, but inside the Gardner Museum, two young security guards were about to make a fatal mistake. A buzzer rang at the side entrance. Two men in Boston police uniforms claimed they were responding to a disturbance call in the museum's courtyard. Against all protocol, the guard on duty buzzed them in. Within seconds, the officers pinned the guards against the wall, telling them, "Gentlemen, this is a robbery." The guards were duct-taped and handcuffed to pipes in the basement. The thieves were now alone in a museum containing some of the rarest treasures on Earth. Forensic motion sensors tracked their every move. They spent the next hour carefully and, sometimes brutally selecting their targets. Their first target was the Dutch room. They smashed the glass of a Rembrandt and literally cut the canvas out of the heavy wooden frame. They took the storm on the Sea of Galilee, Rembrandt's only known seascape. It is a masterpiece that is now effectively priceless because it can never be legally sold. Next, they took a Vermeer called The Concert. There are only about 34 Vermeers in existence, making this one of the most valuable objects ever stolen. Bizarrely, the thieves ignored much more valuable paintings that were closer to the door. Their selection process seemed erratic, almost like they were working from a very specific shopping list. They also stole a Chinese bronze GU from the Shang dynasty and 5 drawings by Degas. Even a Napoleonic eagle finial was twisted off the top of a flagpole. At 2:45 a.m., the thieves made 2 separate trips to their car with the rolled-up canvases. They told the guards in the basement, "You'll be hearing from us," but they never did. The police didn't arrive until 8:15 a.m. when the morning shift guards found their co-workers bound in the basement. The crime scene was a mess of shattered glass and empty frames. The FBI immediately took over the case. They were stunned to find that the museum's security cameras hadn't recorded the faces of the men. The thieves had taken the tapes. However, the motion sensors remained. Forensic analysis showed that the thieves had spent an unusually long time in certain rooms, suggesting they were struggling to remove the art. The first major suspect was the guard who buzzed them in, Richard Abath. He had opened and closed a different door just minutes before the thieves arrived to move. The FBI calls a signal. Abath was interrogated for years, but no solid evidence ever linked him to the crime. He maintained his innocence until his death, calling himself a victim of circumstance. Then the investigation turned toward the Boston Mafia. In the 90s, the mob used stolen art as get-out-of-jail-free cards to negotiate shorter sentences for their bosses. Informants pointed to Bobby Donati, a mob associate with a history of art heists, but Donati was brutally murdered in a gangland hit shortly after the robbery. Another lead pointed to Bobby Gentile, an elderly mobster in Connecticut. During a search of his home, the FBI found a handwritten list of the stolen paintings and their black market values. Even with the list, Gentile swore he never had the art. He claimed he was just trying to scam people by pretending he could broker a deal for the missing masterpieces. In 2013, the FBI made a shock announcement. They claimed to know with high confidence who the thieves were, but they refused to release the names because the suspects were already dead. This news was a gut punch to the art world. If the thieves are dead, who is holding the art now? Stolen paintings of this caliber are almost impossible to destroy because of their sheer ego value. Forensic psychologists suggest that trophy collectors might be keeping the paintings in private bunkers. These are people so wealthy they don't need to sell the art. They just want to own what no one else can. There is a chilling theory that the art was transported to Ireland or the Middle East as collateral for weapons or drugs. If so, the storm on the Sea of Galilee could be in a shipping container right now. The Gardner Museum has a standing offer of a $10 million reward for information leading to the art's return. No questions asked. Just bring the paintings back. Isabella Stewart Gardner's will explicitly states that the museum's collection must never be changed. This is why the empty frames still hang in their original spots as a placeholder for the ghosts. The sight of those empty frames is one of the most depressing visuals in the art world. It's a permanent scar on a 100-year-old legacy. Let's look at the master thief theory. Miles Connor Jr., a legendary art thief, was in prison during the heist, but claimed he had planned it years before. Connor claimed that Bobby Donati used his blueprint to pull off the job. According to Connor, the art was hidden in a secret location that only a few mobsters knew. The FBI has followed thousands of leads across the globe, from Japan to France. Every time they think they are close, the trail evaporates into the criminal underworld. Modern DNA testing was recently performed on the duct tape used to bind the guards. The results remain confidential, but it's the best hope for a forensic hit in the digital age. One of the strangest details was the thieves' attempt to take a third Rembrandt, but it was too heavy, so they left it leaning against a chest. They were professional, yet sloppy. The theft of the Napoleonic eagle finial remains the biggest head-scratcher. Why risk time and detection for a piece of brass when millions of dollars in gold were nearby? Every year on the anniversary, the Boston community gathers to hope for a miracle. The loss of these paintings is considered a crime against humanity's shared heritage. If you saw one of these paintings today, would you recognize it? Most have been off the grid for so long that a whole generation has never seen them in person. The Gardner heist is a reminder that even the most secure institutions have a human flaw. All it took was a buzzer and a fake badge to change history forever. We are now in a race against time. Canvas and oil paint are organic materials. If they are stored in a basement or a garage, they are slowly rotting away. Every day the art is missing. The chance of it being restored to its former glory decreases. We might find the frames, but the souls of the paintings could be gone. The investigation is one of the most expensive and longest running in FBI history. It is a file that will never be closed until the canvases are back in their frames. The shadows of the two policemen still loom over Boston. They pulled off the perfect crime, but at what cost to the world? If you want to help keep the search for these masterpieces alive, hit that like button to spread this investigation. Subscribe to Forgotten Clues to join our global network of history hunters. We want to hear your theories in the comments. Was it an inside job by the Guard, or did the Mafia take the secret to their graves? Let's analyze the clues together. Every interaction helps our channel grow, allowing us to dig even deeper into the world's most famous cold cases. Your support is our fuel. This case is still open. Thank you for watching until the next deep dive, only here on Forgotten Clues.